Hello, welcome to another wonderful session with the Wax channel, the arena of possibilities where we give you the best and finest education through engineering, modern technology, and entertainment. In this video, we are going to learn much about the tools being used in Solidworks drawing and modeling, starting with the sketch tools. We are going to learn deeply to how to use and manipulate the sketch tools in Solidworks. We are also going to look at how to choose or select your dimension units before you begin any Solidworks drawing. Also, in this case, we are going to learn mainly about the Smart Dimension tool and then the line tools. I'm expecting at the end of this lesson, everybody who is under the influence of this telecast should be able to do all this. And in order not to miss or skip any of our tutorials, do subscribe, like, and share. So let us begin. Introduction to Solidworks, Part 3. Yes, in this tutorial, we are coming to look at how to use the sketch tools in Solidworks. Irrespective of the version you are using, this will still be beneficial. Okay, so let's begin. In our earlier videos, we learned that to begin any Solidworks sketch, you have to open a fresh and a new workspace or a new document by either pressing Ctrl N on your keyboard or clicking on this icon, New. We are still dealing with parts. So I double click on parts and then the worksheet opens for me. Let us learn or understand how these tools work. Very interesting. Let's learn and understand how these tools work. First of all, before you begin any sketch, you have to choose your plane. In our earlier videos, we learned how to choose planes, either the top, the right, or the front plane, depending on whatever you are modeling or however you want your finished work to be. So this time around, I believe everybody understands how to choose planes in Solidworks. Great. We are making progress. Therefore, let us continue. We also looked at the fact that after opening sketch, you have to click this sketch at the top left corner in order to choose your plane. I'm coming to choose my front plane, and this is just how to use the tools in the sketch tab. The first tool I have is the Smart Dimension. Smart Dimension is a tool that creates dimension for one or more selected items or entities. That's the purpose of the Smart Dimension. We have different types of dimensions under the Smart Dimension, which is the horizontal, the vertical, the baseline, chain dimension, ordinate dimension. Now, the Smart Dimension is the general one for all. When I'm working in curves and I need to know my radius, the length of my arc, if I'm working in lines and I need to know the length of the line I've drawn, angles, measurements, I need not to go through all the stress, but Smart Dimension automatically knows what you want to do. At this moment, we cannot use Smart Dimension. Why? Because we have not even modeled or drawn anything, and therefore we cannot dimension. Okay, you go back to your select tool or you just press escape on your keyboard. Now let us come here. When you look at the first tool we have here, that is the line tool, the shortcut key on your keyboard to activate the line command is the key L on your keyboard. Alright, now there is a drop down or an arrow drop down to show more options in the line command. When I click on the arrow, I have line, center line, and midpoint line. Let us look at the three of them and how they all behave. When I click on line, it just gives me a solid line for a complete sketch. So when I click on anywhere, you can actually click anywhere for your sketches. I want to start from the origin. So I click once, leave the mouse and move it up or anywhere I want to move it. I've decided to move it to this place and backward like this this is the line command. I can use it to do anything. Now the line command keeps following. I can deactivate it by just clicking this select tool or pressing on the escape key on my keyboard. If you want it to automatically go, then you have to close your sketch by going back to your origin. This is what I've used line for, and this can be converted into a 3D model. This also can equally be dimensioned. So this is the line command and things it can do. This is what line command can do. Okay, you can now click on smart dimension in order to dimension this line sketch we've done. So you click on smart dimension and then you start dimensioning your lines. When smart dimension is activated, you see the sign for that. Now you just click on the line once, release your mouse and then move it. Then you click again. It gives you chance to edit your dimension. Okay, so I choose 130 millimeters. You click on the next line like that, maybe 80 millimeters. And the dimension, smart dimension in Solidworks actually has power. So it is able to modify the drawing as and when changes come. Now, this is what I mean. We have 80 millimeters here. I can equally double click on it in order to edit it. Maybe 200 millimeters. And you can see that it is actually affecting the sketch. Okay, the next line, I have this. That is, let's say 90 millimeters. I have this. In the next one, 100 millimeters. I have this. Another 100 mm. Click, you drag. Now this is a sloped line. When you are moving it quite further, it now gives you the vertical dimension. When you are bringing it quite closer, it gives you the slope or slanted dimension. Please take a very clear note of this. Okay, so I don't want a vertical dimension, I want a slope dimension. So I click this and make it 80 mm. Now there is an angle between this and this. I want to dimension this to the angle that is being formed by these two lines. So I click on the first line with my smart dimension command activated. Click on the first line and click on the second line as well. This is 90 degrees. However, I can just click on it again and change it. Solidworks is telling me that per this sketch I cannot change this because it's not a driven dimension, but you can actually make it so by clicking on this and saying OK, so that we can change the dimension over here. Alright, so it is a 90 degrees dimension. When I click smart dimension again, I click this line and this one. Gives me the dimension of the angle over here, 142 degrees. I can make it alright, let's make it 160 degrees, and this is the effect you are going to see. So the smart dimension in Solidworks actually has power, and this is what the line can do. Okay, I click on the select tool to bring everything back to normal. You can use your scroll to zoom in or out from your mouse. I'm not cleaning this, but in order to clean any of these parts here, you either click on them individually and press delete, like this, delete, or you highlight the whole component and press delete. Okay, I am just undoing what I've done. Ctrl Z, or I click on the undo here. Okay, so for it to come back. Now this is line. Let's look at center line. Center line. Center line is only used for construction in Solidworks. It does not really form part of the main lines or main members that you'll be using in your 3D model, but it is just to help you do your constructions. And when you are doing model, remember center line is inactive. So when I click on center line, it can do what line has done, but it is not an active line. Take note of that. So I click on center line. I can do it this way, this way, this way. It can equally do all that the line, but center line has no end even if you close the drawing. So you just have to click the select tool or the escape on your keyboard. This is center line, and it is not a closed figure because it is inactive. It only helps you in your constructions. However, we can still dimension center lines by clicking smart dimension and clicking on the lines as we did in the earlier, etc. Okay, select. Wonderfully, you can convert a normal line sketch into a center line sketch or a constructional sketch by highlighting the whole thing, click and drag, and just click for construction, and it goes into that. So this is what we have. Let's look at the last line, which is the the midpoint line. Right. So I click on midpoint line. It's also a solid line, but it draws from both directions, both the left and the right directions when you click on it once. So I click on midpoint line once, and this is what I have. So the more you move to the left, the more it creates the same, it mirrors the same thing to the right for you. It can also be made vertical or horizontal using the relations. Okay, escape. In our next video, we are going to look at more importance of the line tool or the line command and the other tools in the sketch tab. Please remember to subscribe, like, and share this video in order to get more very understanding tutorials and then to better your skill.